For day 4 of my Palm Springs adventure, I headed south to Anza Borrego Desert State Park. It's about an hour and a half of this, and this, and then this, and then this. I'm at Anza Borrego Desert State Park. This is my first time here, but it's been on my bucket list to visit for a long time. There are several reasons I wanted to come here. Well, first, it's 600,000 acres of desert beauty from the low desert to the high peaks. There are some bigger than life-size statues that are, or sculptures that are located around the desert. I'm really looking forward to finding those. We've had some rain this year, so there are wildflowers that are growing, desert wildflowers, so really looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, the hiking trails, the beautiful desert to see. There is so much here, so let's get to it. The adventure awaits. I'm starting here at the visitor center. I wanted to get an idea of like where I was going before I get lost in the desert. So they had maps, really friendly people to give me advice on where to go to see the wildflowers, to see the sculptures. And if you'd like to do a hike, but you're not really a hiker, they have a 1/4 mile nature loop trail. So that is something you can also do from here. There is a day pass, which is only $10 that lets you park anywhere within the park. They also have a number of exhibits within the visitor center that tell you about the history of this land going back over 1 million years. One of the nice things I've seen about this park is that everything is well marked. There are information boards, there are placards that tell you about the plants. You get to learn all about the desert here. I was driving towards Coyote Canyon where some wildflowers were spotted, and I was curious about these trees on the side of the road. I'm glad I was looking in that direction because this happened. A dog wandered into the road.
Little doggy, what you doing out here?
Killing someone's pet with my car is not my idea of a good day. So I'm at Coyote Canyon. This is the first place I've come to see wildflowers. The paved road ends and a dirt road begins. You can either hike from here or you can drive up the trail a little bit. But you can see here is the start of some of these gorgeous desert flowers. So I think I'm gonna drive up and then take a look at the desert garden up there. You've probably heard about California's expected super bloom, but this was in January. You won't see a super bloom this early. There normally aren't any flowers this time of year, but you can see these beautiful purple flowers scattered along the landscape. I found a place to park on the side of the road. You have to be careful because the road is hard packed, but on the side it's soft sand, so you don't want to get stuck in the soft sand. So now I am just out looking for some flowers. There are some beautiful flowers right along the roadway, and I'm gonna head into the desert a little bit to see if I can find some more. So the path I'm taking is actually in a wash. We had rains a few weeks ago, but it's already dried up. But this is the way that the streams would follow, and this would not be drivable when the streams were coming across the roadway. But now it's dried up. It makes a nice path and tells you where the wildflowers are. They're gonna be where the water is, right? I'll be honest, I didn't find a lot of flowers, the purple mostly. There were a few yellow flowers and this cluster of 3 white flowers. A lot of people think of the desert as being barren and ugly, but there is beauty here. You just have to look for it. And here we've got the technical names: purple flowers, yellow flowers, and white flowers. I saved for a year to buy the lens that's on my camera. It's a Tamron 35-150 f2 and it's $1,900. This is the first trip that I've used it on. I love it, but it's made me realize how much I still need to learn as a photographer. I'll get there. So you can see from my long shadow that it is getting late in the day, but that's okay. I had planned it this way. We're gonna head back and grab something to eat in town and then catch the sunset. And after the sunset, we're gonna go get the sculptures. I wanted to get those in the evening with long exposure on my camera. And then there is a night sky event back up at the near the visitor center. So still a big day ahead of us. I went to Kessling's Kitchen for a late lunch. Its tables were largely deserted when I arrived, but the place had been packed when I got in town earlier that morning, so I knew it would be good. They had a lot of great options, but I settled for the wood-fired pizza, and I was right. It was very good. Next to Kessling's Kitchen was an art museum, but it had already closed for the day, darn it. So I headed back up the hill to watch the sunset. It is 4:27. I took my time eating because it was good, and sunset was not scheduled for until 5:10 to 5:15, but here it is, 4:27, and the mountains have kind of interfered with my sunset plans. So I pulled over, I got the very end of the sunset, and you can see down in the valley the sun is still shining, so if I went on further down that way, then I could get the sunset again, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I am going to head out to the sculptures now. I had a map to tell me where the sculptures were, but they're not marked on the road, so you have to watch for them as you're driving. I made a wrong turn, or two. I found the first of the desert sculptures, this extinct horse. These desert sculptures are inspired by 3 different areas: fossil treasures, which is what this one is, nature, and fantasy. So we're going to be seeing all of them, but this is the first one. Yeah, we're not going to be seeing all of them. The idea of taking long exposure photos at night of these gorgeous sculptures is a good idea, but the execution had problems. This is a very basic city girl mistake. This is a rural and remote area. There are no streetlights on the streets, and definitely no streetlights in the desert. Look at these dirt roads. In the daylight, no problem. At night, if you don't know where you're going, big problem. As the night turned pitch black, I tried not to panic. I did. I finally found my way back to the road, but my long exposure plan was a complete disaster. So I headed to my last event, the dark sky presentation. The dark sky presentation was interesting. They gave us binoculars and a sky map to read. They had a telescope pointed at the Milky Way, and the image from the telescope was on an iPad. Now look at this long, powerful beam of light. The ranger was able to point out specific stars as she talked about them. Anza Borrego was a fun day, and I am definitely coming back to see the desert sculptures in the daylight. I hope this helps you find your adventure. Thank you for watching.